Hey everybody, my name's Chris. This is a video brought to you by the Aztec Recreation Center, and today we are doing a segment called Wind Down Yoga. This one was inspired, kind of because of the times. I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of scattering going about, and when I made this video for you, I saw a quote that I thought, it really inspired. It really inspired me to make this video to help rein ourselves in. And that quote was, if our respiration is scattered, then our mind will also be scattered. If respiration is stabilized, then the mind becomes stable. For the yogi attaining a motionless mind, the respiration should be mastered. That was from chapter 2 of Hatha Pradipika, which is this classical yoga text that was written thousands of years ago. And when we got into the Pranayama segment, when I was training in India, I knew that there was something that was very potent here because of what my background knowledge is with psychology and being an athlete, and how regulating the breath is one of those things that really optimizes the human encounter, right? Having a direct encounter with the world. But I didn't know that this was like some elite stuff that I was getting into. So, for those of you that are doing this for the first time, know that it might not feel exactly right, and that's okay, right? It's written in that text too that in order to practice pranayama really well, you should be able to have an asana practice that's really well refined. Right, so you should be able to sit still, which can be kind of difficult sometimes, and to also do it with a sense of like lightness, like without suffering. You should be able to control your senses, which also can be difficult for many of us, being able to withdraw from them and bring them in. And when you have that alongside of a good diet and instruction from a guru or from a teacher, that is how you ought to be practicing your pranayama. And if you're not doing that, you're a failure. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that. So I'm going to show you a few things that I do to sort of prepare my body to enter into like this breathing exercise practice. I'm going to give you a couple of things that can help settle down the body, make it less agitated, and then I'll lead you into what is regarded as the highest form of pranayama, but you're not going to be doing it in its highest form, right? This is just like what you're going to be aiming towards, and it's also a really great tool, something that's can easily be done inside of your car, waiting for a test, whatever it is that you are ramped up for, that you want to bring yourself down for, this will really help. And so to begin today, I'm going to advise that you sit by a wall, by a bed, maybe by a chair. We're going to be doing some legs up the wall. If you're not by one, I'll give you a modification that some advanced practitioners will use. Otherwise, pause the video and find yourself the right space. If you are in that right space, we'll get started. Take a seat. And after you take your seat, guide the soles of your feet to touch. Link your fingers, hands underneath the outer edges of the feet. Press the feet together and also down. As your feet press down, you lift your heart up and extend your spine. Give yourself some quick movements here in the knees. Now, these quick movement here in the knees, sometimes they're just nice to do, but in the prospect of this video, I'm reminding you that, hey, it's like, imagine you're really nervous for a test, or you have a big game coming up or an interview coming up, and you have all of this scattered energy inside of you. These little movements here is helping you not suppress that moment. It's helping you meet that moment. We are aiming to cultivate a different sense of ourselves, to maybe set a new tempo for ourselves, but it's good to make sure that we sort of validate, honor, and meet ourselves as we are. So with that being said, we're going to begin to invite some slower movements, guiding the knees up with an inhale, and the knees down with an exhale. Linking your breath to movement. And invite your pace of breath to slow. Invite the movements to become larger. And maintain a sense of unity between the movement of your body and the oscillations of your breath. After your next exhale, lift your arms up, breathe in. Hinge forward and forward fold. Now you're going to place your left hand here directly in front of your feet on the earth. You're going to place your right hand on top of your right knee. Elbow over wrist over knee. As the right hand presses down, remember to, with an active energy in your left leg, guide the left knee down too. Inhale, extend. Exhale, twist. Repeating that pattern of continually inhaling for length and exhaling for depth. Rotating through your center of axis. When you feel satisfied, right hand's going to come down, left hand is going to come down, both hands are shoulder width apart, center. And then right hand in the middle, left hand, left knee, elbow over wrist over knee, feet pressed together. Inhale, extend. Exhale and deepen into your twist, rotating through your belly, through your ribs, through your shoulders, and then through your neck at the end. And if your breathing is still quick right now, that's okay. Emphasize your exhales. That will begin to initiate yourself to slow down. And when you feel satisfied, left hand comes down, right hand shoulder width apart. Exhale, melt. Do not breathe in yet. And then inhale, rise up, arms up. Turn the palms away, hands to the earth right beside your hips. Well done. Now, if you are by a wall, extend your legs and go ahead and take a seat against that wall, against that bed, against that chair, against that whatever. It's not required. But it is going to help you sit in this 90-degree angle with your body. This is Dandasana. Activate your feet, toes above the heels, right feet active as though they're flat on the ground. Thighs pressing down, shoulders rolling back, spine extending upwards. Guide your palms to touch with your hands at heart center. Lift your heart against your hands. And exhale. Center your eyes in their orbits, and instead of looking out into the world, just allow the light to enter into the back of the retina. And after you find your gaze softening, loosen the eyebrows, and direct your attention to how your hands are pressing against one another. Invite equanimity, fingertips pressing, the circumference of the palms pressing. And invite this equanimity to grow throughout the asana, right? The feet are pressing down, the thighs are active, the back of the legs are lengthening. This is the activity in the lower half of your body, and the upper half of your body match that activity, right? Extend upwards through the spine, broaden through the shoulders, breathe with your belly, ribs, and chest. Good amount of work being done here. Extend your arms upwards. Good. Lengthen through your side body, hinge forward, don't round the back just yet, and allow your hands to land wherever they may, right? It could be on the shins, could be on the knees, doesn't matter. We're still being active here in this forward fold. Breathe with your belly and try to melt. Breathe with your ribs and aim to melt. Breathe with your shoulders, hug them up. Now exhale, soften into Paschimottanasana. Now in this part of the forward fold, allow your hands to take a hold of wherever they are, right? Don't be pulling with your biceps, but balance the tension of a pushing, if your hands are around your feet, with your feet into your hands, with the pushing, certainly, of your thighs into the ground, and then with a lengthening that's caused by pulling through the shoulder blades, an active extension through the spine, and this activity is done on the inhalations, and on your exhalations, completely relax. Oscillating between these two here will help encourage your state of mind, or it certainly encourages my state of mind, to begin making its way from a very active and stimulated state into a more relaxed space, winding myself down, and perhaps yourself down too. And after your next exhalation, roll up one disc at a time. Rest your back against the bed, against the chair, against the wall. Sit up nice and tall. Good. And then when you're ready, rotate to the side. After you rotate to the side, what we're going to do here is what we've been preparing ourselves for, which is legs up the wall. This isn't the breathing exercise, but this is why we wanted to sit by something. Now, the easiest way of doing this is going to be done with your knees bent. Take your hip to the side of the bed or to the side of the chair, and then lay onto your back, pivot, and allow the hook of the knee to rest along the top side of the chair, along the top side of the bed. Right now, if you wanted to do something that was more active, then what you could do here is press your thighs down just like you did in your Dandasana and extend your legs upwards, right? Now, I know that there's going to be like Iyengar teachers out there that are watching this that would include a lot more props, and I would love to include more props in this too. But chances are you're doing this from home, right? And so if you are working with a bed, allow your knees to relax. If your lower back has a little bit of agitation, place a pillow underneath that. And what do you do with your arms? Do anything that's comfortable and serves you, right? I've been doing a lot of chest work lately, so guiding my arms overhead in the shape of like field goal posts is what's going to help me. Holding elbows is nice for some people, or resting your hand on your heart and your hand on your stomach will help the best. Now we're going to be here for about a minute or two. I'm going to be quiet here for a few seconds. Allow yourself to settle in. And I'll speak to you again soon. Now, if you feel comfortable as you are, then remain as you are. For those of you who have their legs up a wall, and whose legs are straight, if this is a bit intense, cross your leg at the ankle, just like you would if you were sitting cross-legged on the earth, and allow the knees to bow outwards. Feel free to switch that modification if, when you're ready, switching the opposite ankle on top. And after you've done that, if you feel comfortable, you can remain there. We're going to be there for another minute or two. And then for those of you that were wondering about that active modification, I'm going to just show you what it looks like. If you're currently at peace, lying down where you are, remain at peace. And in these last 30 seconds, begin to meet your middle, which is to say, I'm not asking you to be completely passive. I'm not asking you to be completely active. I am asking you to balance your sense of effort with your ease. And if you're able to do that, then you are beginning to master your asana. You're beginning to master your physical body. And this is a good sign that you are well prepared for the breath work that's going to come up here very soon. Now, to exit this space, place your feet against the bed, against the chair, against the wall. Scoot out a little way from it. For those of you that took the very active modification that I showed you earlier, come down into your bridge and guide your hips down. After your feet are on the ground, guide your knees to one side, place your hand into the earth, and guide yourself up into an easy cross-legged seated position. Once here, lift your arms up, hinge forward and forward fold. We're not going to be here very long. Invite some small movements to create length out of your hips, to invite softness in the neck. And take a deep breath in, a long breath out. And then walk your hands back, stacking one disc at a time. Sit tall, rest your hands on your knees, and melt the shoulders back and down. Next, Brahman Mudra. Mudra, most of you are familiar with, who are familiar with the term mudra, know it to be like a hand gesture. For those of you that are familiar with Hatha Pradipika, you will also know that there is an expression of the self that comes with our mudras that helps bring us closer to samadhi, towards your self-actualized state. Now, whether or not the way that we hold our hands or the way that we express ourselves is actually a sign of our divinity, what is certainly applicable here is a touching, a sensing, a connecting. And so if you got your index finger to rest on your thumb and have each of the 3 fingers extended, kind of like it would be for an Om sign, or for a 3, allow these thumbs and fingers to connect. Take a breath in, hug your shoulders up, melt your shoulders back and down. Now move your thumb from your index finger to your middle finger. From your middle finger to your ring fingers. From your ring finger to your pinky. And then take a combination of any of the above. Open up the palm entirely. And then allow your hands to rest in a way that expresses you. And that is good enough. And now that you've taken your mudra with your hand, Brahman Mudra is a movement with the neck. Listen carefully. Our first movement is going to be a movement to our left. Keeping your chin level with the floor, begin rotating your chin to the left, inhaling and exhaling, and counting to 10. Passively arrive at your edge. And after you've counted to 10, stay there for another count of 10. After the 10 count hold is completed, guide yourself back to center, counting to 10. After you return to center, begin rotating your chin to the right, counting to 10. And once you found your edge, remain there, chin towards the right shoulder for a hold of 10. Ensure that your spine is upright, your chin is still level with the floor, and after your 10-second hold, begin guiding yourself back to center, again counting to 10. Next, we will lift the chin. So counting to 10, lift your chin upwards. Your nose beginning to point straight up towards the sky. Create length in your neck. And after you've found your edge, remain there for a count of 10. And after that's completed, guide your chin forward and down, counting to 10. After you have found your center, begin guiding your chin towards the chest, counting to 10. hold the pose, not your breath, for a count of 10. Once completed, lift your chin back to level, moving slow, counting to 10, arriving in the center at the end. We're going to do that one more time. Again, keep your spine extended, shoulders back, down, and relaxed. 10-second movements, 10-second holds, 10-second return to center. Begin by rotating your chin to the left. Everybody's going to move at their own pace. Everybody breathes at a little different pace. And so, if you have major way ahead of me, that's okay. If you've just returned to center, that's okay. Trust that you remember the sequence. 10-second movements, 10-second holds at the outer edges, 10-second movements to return to center, going left, then right, then up, then down, and all meeting in the middle again. Be particularly careful when you lift your chin up and tilt your head back, not to create any type of compression, just length, just opening, just space. What many of you may have begun to notice is your eyes drawing naturally to a close. A slowness beginning to appear in your breath. And in turn, a slowness to the activity of the mind. And after you have returned to meet in the middle, softly open the eyes and listen carefully. Don't move. I am going to move closer to you. This final bit is the pranayama I spoke of. That Brahman Mudra, excellent thing to do in the car, excellent thing to do preparing for a test. This pranayama, I think you're going to dig this. These fingers inside the palm. Ring finger on the left nostril. Breathe in through your right nostril. Plug the right nostril with the thumb. Release the ring finger and exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Plug the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Plug the right. Exhale through the left. And continue in this fashion, inhaling through one nostril, plugging it, exhaling through the opposite, and inhaling through the same one again. And as you continue on in this practice, remember to continue to sit tall, to continue to create space as you breathe through each single nostril, guiding air down into your respiratory system and favoring each one of your lungs. And as you begin to balance out both sides of your respiratory system, I'm also going to invite you to balance out your inhales and your exhales. So count. On your next inhalation, begin counting as you draw it in. Plugging it and matching the number as you exhale out. Matching the number as you breathe in. Matching the number as you breathe out the other side. Perform 2 more rounds on your own. And on your last round, encourage all of your facial muscles to be soft. When you exhale through your right nostril the next time, your breath work will be done. Invite your hands to rest in your lap. And take a moment here to just watch. Reflect on how the practice went for you. Make a special note of anything that was especially helpful. And guide your palms to touch with your hands at heart center. Lift your heart against your hands. And melt your shoulders away, back and down. Palms pressing together with a sense of balance. Your inhales and exhales being regulated with stability and equanimity too. And perhaps, just perhaps, stability and equanimity arriving in the mind as well. Perhaps. Thanks so much for joining me in this practice today. As always, you can reach out to us at the ARC. Feedback, comments, suggestions, questions, always welcome. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, Christopher Czar, CZAR, is the best way to do that. And it's a real pleasure doing this for San Diego State and just connecting with you. So take care, be good to one another, stay safe. I'll see you next time.